Hello and welcome. It's nice to see all of you here today. And what are we doing? So today we are learning Polish. I'm Agata Kowalewska and I'm a faculty in the Center for the European Studies at University of Florida. My name and my contact information are on the screen. And I'm wondering if you can guess why do we have the white and red in such an abundant amount. White and red are colors that are used on the Polish flag. And I thought it will be only appropriate to start this lesson with having some Polish symbols. We have an eagle, that is symbol of Polish country and Poles, and the white and red for the Polish flag. So what is one of the first steps that we have to remember when learning a new language, or actually new of anything? It's that at the very beginning, we are going through a horrendous frustration of not sounding like a native speaker. So what you need to do at the beginning of learning Polish and other language is give yourself time. You will sound like a native speaker if you can learn the words, you can learn about culture, you can learn how to pronounce it. But all of it requires patience that we need to give ourselves and time. And another thing that I want you to remember is that whichever language was your very first language, so assume you are all English speakers, you are learning this language from the very first moment you open your ears and were able to make sounds. And when you're learning that language, your tongue, your cheeks, your lips, your teeth, your gums, all those elements in your mouth that are making speech were forming with you learning that language. When you are switching languages, all those parts of your mouth and throat and tongue that are making speech have to adjust. They have to start working slightly differently. So it is difficult at the beginning making sounds like people who were born to Polish language make. But again, if you be patient with yourself, if you give yourself time, your tongue, your lips, your mouth will adjust and you can start making Polish sounds, not random sounds. So where do we want to start? So Polish has letters that are very similar to English letters. If you look at the rows of them, you will probably recognize most of them, but some have some symbols that make them sound differently. And remember that the letters in Polish, even though they look very similar, make actually slightly different sounds. So for example, the first letter of the alphabet, A. In Polish, it's pronounced A. The second letter, which is the letter with the extra symbol, a little tail, it's letter O. It's actually a nasal sound. If you speak French, that will be similar to the sounds that French are so used to. It's a nasal sound, and then there is a third letter. So it's B, but in Polish it is B. C, C, D, E, M, another nasal sound, M, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, O. So this is another Polish sound that you probably never heard in English. It's a letter O. Then we have M, N, O, U, P, Q, R. In English, in Polish, it will be R. S, another Polish sound, Sh, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and two Polish sounds, Z and R. So some of those sounds will be very easy for you to make. Some of them will require a little bit of practice done. And practice is how you open your mouth, where does your tongue go when you make those sounds, and we will practice this now. So you're very used to saying letter A, having your mouth slightly wider. In Polish, to make a sound A, you have to open your mouth really, really wide. And this is the first step where you need to be patient with yourself and actually maybe try to treating yourself with a bit of humor. You want to practice making funny faces. So when you are learning to say letter A, look in the mirror and make that big open mouth to make that sound. A allows the air from your belly, from your tongue, come out without any barriers. So it has to be that very wide opening for it. A. Do it with me. A. And then you have letter O. Letter O in Polish it has slight limitation in how the sound comes out of your mouth. So it's O. It's not that wide opening. It has a narrow edges. And then we have letter E. So it's more like rectangle. And letter E, which makes your mouth open very, very narrow and very, very wide. E. So those are the beginnings. It's a start. What are other things that we want to learn at the beginning? So there are two sentences that help you learn vocabulary. One of them is co to znaczy? And it means, what does it mean? So this is one of these basic things that when children are learning the language, they ask all the time, what is this? What is that? What does it mean? So it is also a sentence that will be very helpful for you to know at the beginning of learning the language. Co to znaczy? Co to znaczy książka? A book. Co to znaczy komputer? You probably guessed, computer. Co to znaczy słońce? It's a sun. So practice, and then you learn more as you use that sentence. Co to znaczy? The next sentence that may be also a useful tool in learning the language is jak się mówi. So you see, you hear, you recognize the letter, but seeing the word, knowing what it means may not necessarily be the same as hearing the word and being able to reproduce that sound. Jak się mówi, book. So you may know the spelling of the word, but then you also want to know how each one of those letters creates the word. Jak się mówi book? Książka. Jak się mówi sun? Słońce. Jak się mówi computer? Komputer. So practice and use it. Jak się mówi? This was our mini lesson of learning Polish, the very beginning introductory course. And I would like to remind you that if you would like to find more information about Polish and learning Polish at UF in the Center for European Studies, you will find information in the description that it's provided with this video. And please like us on Facebook, follow us on the Instagram. And now I would like to say goodbye in Polish. Do zobaczenia, do widzenia, cześć.